Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Panda here, back for some more Katawa Shoujo. We now have Hanako, Lilly. We just need one more piece to the puzzle, and life shall be complete. Again. Then after that, we'll do another path. How's that sound? Sound good? No. I'm not going to fuss about on the title screen much longer, as I always do, because I really just want to get into things, you know? And by into things, I mean into Lily's pajamas. And with that, she turns and strides out of the door, a hand held high as she disappears into the darkened hallway, closing the door behind her. Once again, I've forgotten to start the timer on my phone. There we go, done. The most reaction I can muster is flopping forwards onto the table, completely drained of energy and truly exhausted of her. Lily's ability to hold her own against that suited devil is something I admire. Oh, I suppose it would be pretty easy to do considering it's her sister. I mean, she's probably used to it. Lived with her whole life, almost. She really is incredibly blunt. I don't think I'll ever be able to keep up with your sister's energy. As I feel Lily's soft hand come to rest on my own, I roll my head to the side to see her gently smiling. For a long time we simply sit beside each other silently. Given her unquestionably unusual height, she is pretty much exactly as tall as I am, probably a couple of centimeters higher if anything. Like this, she appears even taller. The feeling of her pale, soft hand against mine is a pleasant one, as is the sight of the thin, silken pajamas she wears, showing her curves and collarbone. You do get on well though, even if you do say that. I guess, you know, you two are a lot more alike than I first thought when I met you. Then it's a good thing. I quickly stopped you from going after her, isn't it? Oh, I doubt I would have gone after her, to be honest. Even if I could, I think I would have stayed with you, Lily. It shows my my honourability towards you. That was not the right word, but I'm going to continue with that one since I can't remember the one I was after. Though she jokes about it, my assessment of my inability to keep up with Akira, either physically or mentally, was quite in earnest. Lily's slow-paced and ladylike, almost motherly nature is perhaps the single thing that helped me most in my first weeks at Yamaku. Come to think of it, wait, since when were we Sal! Oh god, that's... Yep, that made me choke. Wait, since when were we using protection? As I give a curious look to my side, Lily's cheeks puff out as she huffs at me. Unlike you, I remembered... Oh, thank God, Lily, thank you. Whew. The packet is in the cupboard next to the sink. So I'm not the only one of us that takes a pill. In hindsight, I feel rather thoughtless for not remembering it all and leaving it to Lily. Oh man, that was a close call. I may have had to go and get the clothes hanger. Coat hanger, you know. No, bad joke. Digging myself a hole. Alright. Looking over to the cupboard she mentions, I notice again the knee-high piles of books around us that were here the other times I've visited. For the most part, they're lined up against the wall to give a little more room around the table. Why don't you get a bookshelf for your books? It's odd to see books just piled around, especially given that your room looks so neat and orderly otherwise. They're easier to find this way. I know exactly which pile each book is in. Wouldn't you still know that after putting each set on a different shelf? That may be, but... So she's not immune to bouts of laziness after all. You have so many of them. It's kind of a shame we can't share our book sets despite both of us reading so much. She gives a short giggle. Come to think of it, Why do you order your books through Yuko? I imagine there'd be plenty of sites that you could order books in Braille from, especially in English Braille. There are a lot of text-to-speech programs too. She turns her head slightly away from me, which strikes me as somewhat surprising. I'm just not all that good with computers. I'm alright with typewriters and braillers, but that's about it. What's a brailler? Anyone want to fill me in what a brailler is? I genuinely don't know, and I'm quite curious. Clearly it's something to do with Braille, but that's about as far as my knowledge of them goes. Her tone almost makes me chuckle. She's a prideful person, so admitting something like that must be difficult. So, Lily's a low-tech kind of person. Given her old-fashioned personality, it's not really a stunning surprise. Well, she does have Hanako as a friend who apparently is pretty good with computers and, likes them, because, I remember going back, trying to find a present for her birthday, shopping. I'm pretty sure Lily said something about her being good with computers. Or maybe she was terrible with computers, I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it, a lot of people aren't really that good with them, so it's not that unusual. Wait, what? Now she's even more depressed. It feels like I'm twisting the knife rather than healing her wound. Ah, right, I see. I clipped. With a bit of squirming, I shuffle my way closer to her, tentatively putting one hand around her waist to hug her. I'm still not really used to this kind of physical affection, but Lily seems to like it. Oh. It's very intimate. It's very intimate. I have to say, I find, in my honest opinion, a good kiss like this far more intimate than any of the other scenes, let's just say. This is really quite affectionate. Lily smiles as she turns to face me, a kiss before being the reward for giving in to her. She draws me in, brushing my upper lip with hers before pressing against both. This way, every one of my senses is filled with her. The barely perceptible scent of her hair, her taste as a tongue fleetingly touches mine, the tenderness of her lips, the image of her filling my mind, the total silence apart from her faint breath. And of course that weird sound you get when you're face sucking. We may have kissed before, but even if this is more of a kiss of simple affection... what? But even if this is more a kiss of simple affection than anything, it's still a new and pleasant sensation. Aww. It was a very blissful moment, don't you agree? Camera, microphone, don't you agree? Can't talk to anyone else in here because there's no one else here. I'm just talking to you, microphone. I love you, microphone. Judging from her vivid blush as she pulls back, it's obvious she feels the same as I do. Even if we're entirely alone, it still feels a little embarrassing to open up to each other this much. Well, you are a fairly new couple. If we take everything day by day, I think that would be for the best. Small steps, right? Yeah, just small steps. Small steps. I was going to proceed into some sexual innuendo there, but I kind of faded away from a hilarious joke that was going to end up being absolutely a shit joke. We have plenty of time to be together, even after the school year is over. As long as we move together, I think everything will work out okay. Neither of us is going anywhere soon after all. For now, I'm just thankful for this small moment in time we can spend together. Aww. It was very cute, I have to say. I did enjoy that moment. All sexual innuendo jokes aside, I really did. I stand unmoving in front of the door to the nurse's office for what it feels like at least a dozen minutes or so. It's not like I never entered the small beige room before, nor is it because of any feeling of childlike anxiety over the visit. Sorry. Still choking from that scene before. Maybe it's because the nurse's office is akin to a confessional, an admission that my body is flawed. The knowledge that such a fact is kept entirely confidential between the nurse and I hardly lessens the feeling. Remembering that the bell to signal the end of lunch break will sound soon, I give a sigh and open the door. The burden will stay with me just this while longer. I hardly doubt the teacher's going to give you a detention for being late to class if you're with the nurse. You can take as long as you want, Hisao. As long as you want. Well now, if it isn't Nakai, good to see you. Or bad, I guess, considering that I'm a nurse. He gives a small laugh, amused at his little joke. I find his humour lacking in some way. But the fact that he can make light of such a situation is perhaps comforting, or at least distracting. I'd say he is a pretty good nurse. Most nurses and doctors are kind of... they're not good. They're not good socialists. They're not good at socialising, let's say. Just sort of get on with the job, and that does make you very anxious about the results for whatever reason you went into the doctors. They don't really crack jokes or anything. It's not good. Although it would be kind of odd for a doctor to crack a joke and then say to you, well, you've got cancer. His brief episode of entertainment over, he claps his hands together and gets down to business. I take a seat as he gestures for me to do so. Please, Nakai, take a seat. I wish the classrooms had seats this comfortable. I can feel my mind wandering as my eyes quickly scan the room, distracted by all the small changes since last I came. Alrighty, so what brings you here? I haven't seen you often, so I assume your health's been good so far? Well, mostly. I see. The smile drops as I trail off. I feel slightly guilty about it. It's these moments where I can't wish to call myself normal that make me so reluctant to see the nurse. They're an admission that I'm different from everyone else. Maybe he's just come to the nurse to grab some more dogs. Well, it's the best place to get them. I mean, you'll get them for free, trust me. They'll give them to you for free. You go to the chemist or something, you have to pay for that shit. I mean, if you're in school and you want DOMs, go to your school nurse, because trust me, you'll get them for free and you won't regret it. That's terrible advice, don't listen to that. If you're still in school, you shouldn't be having sex. No, I'm kidding. Go for it. Have all the sex you want. While I was on a trip during the long weekend, I had a few problems with my heart. He hums very seriously and nods as he does so, urging me to go on. I think it was... yeah. It was as I was walking a fairly long distance. I think the right term for it is a heart flutter. I suddenly went weak at the knees and felt almost like I was having a small heart attack, but it passed in about half a minute. Even afterward though, I felt pretty fatigued and nauseous. Was that before or after you fucked Lilly? Not good. Not good at all. That was how many days ago exactly? Did you do anything unusual aside from exerting yourself before the episode? Were you were you taking your medication properly? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did some exertion of some sorts. The nurse switches from awkward jokester to serious health professional mode, rattling off questions, making notes and calling up stuff on his computer. I tell him about my forgetting to take my pills that morning, and that preceding evening. It was a stupid thing to do, but I can't change anything about it now, except answer honestly and bite the bullet. Ooh, that would be kind of awkward, but hey, man's gotta know. His seriousness evolves into a frown, and the talk evolves into an instant checkup. Wait, what the fuck is he saying? Is he saying Lily's got an STI? Motherfucker. She doesn't. How dare he think of such things? I finish buttoning up my shirt and again get motioned to take a seat in front of the nurse. Is this the first heart problem you've had since coming to Yamaku? I've had short pains in my chest before, just a couple of times, but they were more discomfort than anything like this, especially when I get run into in the hallways by Emmy. Fucking Emmy. He leans back in his chair, briefly reassembling a white-coated Poirot. Yep. It sounds French, yet I can't pronounce it, as he mulls over the mysterious case of the heart flutter. Moving his lips from side to side to show he's thinking, his non-existent moustache wiggling, he eventually comes to a conclusion. Well, you survived it. It's always on the plus side. I blink at this once, then notice the worst sneering? The nurse wearing his "got you" face. It's actually somewhat reassuring. I don't think he would crack jokes if things were really this serious, so I keep silent and take my lumps. I'll have to talk with your doctor, but right now I suspect it's simply due to physical exertion. Have you been keeping up with regular light exercise like I directed you to? I make sure to walk a reasonable amount every day. It's usually enough to work up a bit of sweat, but then again I'm not really as fit as I used to be. Yeah, well, if you miss your walk, I'm sure you'll gain it in something else that works up a bit of sweat, if you know what I'm saying. That should be enough then. The main thing to keep in mind is to do regular low stress exercise, not short bursts of sprinting and such. I understand. Since leaving the hospital I've been a lot more focused on my studies, partly to take my mind off not being able to do more physical things. Every time I hear physical things now, or physical or exertion, all I can think of is sex with Lilly. God damn it. It's good to hear you're coping well. Sudden lifestyle changes can be hard at the best of times, so I'm pleased to hear that you sound like you have everything in order. Almost everything, that is. Apart from the chlamydia you gained from, and the herpes, crabs, anyone get that reference? The clap. Nevertheless, I want to keep a close eye on you for a while, just for observation's sake, just to make sure things aren't going downhill. You understand. That's something I really didn't want to hear. Since coming to Yamaku, all I've wanted to do is live a normal life as possible. Observation was one of the words I came to hate most during my hospital stay. For so long I felt as if I could just have walked straight out of the hospital doors if it not for that observation the doctors wanted so dearly. Sure, should I come more often? I'm sure Lilly wouldn't mind. He checks the calendar next to his computer, which seems to inflict on him a nasty case of furrowed brow. He spins back towards me after that. Summer holidays are a bit of a pain, considering the timing. I'll check with your doctor to try and get a better handle on the situation and see how he wants to proceed, but I think you should just take things slowly and carefully for now. What you're describing doesn't immediately sound like a recurring event, but it won't hurt to slow down a bit for a while, just to make sure. What should I do for today? Try a bit of oral, you know, that doesn't work the heart up a bit as much. Maybe she can try an oral on you. She'd be a terrible nurse if he was actually prescribing this sort of advice to herself. But luckily I'm not the doctor, so otherwise I would be fired immediately. All my patients would just become nymphos. He looks over my shoulder at a cloak hanging over the door. I'd never have noticed it if I hadn't followed his gaze. It's nearly time for school to be over, so you may as well just leave early. Oh, thanks, bro. He gives me a sly wink, making sure that I understand he's doing me a favour. Well, nurse's orders. Thanks. That's what I'm here for, after all. What a GC. I know you might not want to hear this, but you can't ignore your condition. Don't hesitate to see me if you have any further problems, or if you just have anything you want to ask. Bye. He spins around and gets back to typing on the computer in front of him. I suppose I'll just read before waiting for Lilly by the gate, considering I don't have much else to do. This guy is actually a pretty cool nurse. He's pretty chill. I kind of want him as my nurse. No. But in that case then I'd kind of have to have a reoccurring problem, which I don't. Even as I leave, his words echo in my mind. My condition isn't something as limiting as many of the others here in Yamaku, and I don't want to burden Lilly with thinking about it. If I just live life normally and avoid any short, sharp shocks, I should be okay. I won't let my condition rule me. As Lilly comes into view, I leave. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it was a very short episode today, but I have better things to do tonight. I know. How can there be better things to do than read Katawa Shoujo to you lovely folk? But, I'm sorry. Life goes on. There shall be another episode the next day. You know there'll always be another episode the next day. I won't let you down. I don't do that. I promise. I promise. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed. Sorry about all